The middle mile truckers that were expecting a peak season last year, when I was talking and said there wasn't going to be a peak season, I said it. I'm directing this to you guys because the freight that you would need to move where you would see your increase in freight, because see, here's the thing. This is where they got caught in the trick bag last year. They were running during the pandemic in 21 and 22, and they saw that freight moving in November. They saw that freight moving in December. But let me tell you something from a person who's been in this space since 2010. The middle mile sees your peak season start in September, end of September through October, through the beginning part of November. Bart, what are you talking about? Peak season starts in November for the people who came late. No, it doesn't. It starts in July. Your field, box trucking, you see your increase in freight that you guys have never seen a normal peak season. See, that's the issue. The people who came in 2021, 2022, you just saw an overabundance of freight all the way through. That freight was not peak season freight. That was PPP freight with a mix of peak season freight. You take that money out the equation, you wouldn't have seen that type of volume in November and December. That is not when you see peak season. You're a box trucker. You're running middle mile. You think the shit you're running peak season freight middle mile in December? How? People are ordering stuff for next day delivery. So the stuff needs to be where it needs to be already by that time so a final mile carrier can deliver it to the consumer's doorstep. You see your increase in peak in September, October, going into November, because you're running at the middle mile to the fulfillment centers and to the warehouses. Like, come on, let's use common sense here. That's just like saying, well, the import peak season starts in November. How? If it takes 25 to 30 days for the stuff to get over here from China, Indonesia, so on and so forth, to get here, it doesn't make sense, right? In order for it to hit an intermodal, a rail car to hit a truck, it's got to come by sea. In order to get on the shelf, it's got to come by truck. In order for it to be on the shelf for Black Friday, which it means it needs to be in transition prior to Black Friday. You have same day, next day delivery, guys. Let's use our common sense. Amazon changed how we look at delivery today. I remember 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when you order something online, because e-commerce wasn't where it is today, you order something online, the earliest you would get it would be sometime between 5 and 7 days. 2-day didn't exist. UPS had a 3-day, but you were going to pay a premium for it. But when you're dealing with e-commerce where they have relationships with shippers and then they're shipping it to you. Next day, same day didn't exist for e-commerce. Amazon changed the landscape about 6 years ago when they started the 2-day delivery. Then shortly after that, they pushed it to next day delivery. Then shortly after that, they started experimenting and flirting with same day delivery. Then after they accomplished that, they opened up to even more same day deliveries. I can order something right now and it'll be here at 4 a.m. Be overnight. They got overnight delivery. And from what I hear, they're working on 1 hour delivery. So in order to turn that stuff around, right, that fast, fulfillment needs to already be in place. So the middle mile box trucker, I'm telling you guys, prior to pandemic, because I know a lot of you guys are pandemic spawns, pandemic startups. The way it works is you would see your peak season for your lane beginning in September, going into October, going into November. And I gave you the reason why. Get the pandemic out of your mind. None of that was real. It was real, but that's not the way things work. It's unfortunate that none of y'all have seen a real peak season, but I'm telling you what it is, just like I told y'all last year.